Imagine you're in your basement doing some routine DIY work. You knock down a wall to expand a room, and instead of finding dirt or pipes, you're staring into a pitch-black hand-carved tunnel that just keeps going. That's exactly what happened in Turkey back in 1963. One guy with a sledgehammer accidentally opened a door to a world that had been silent for centuries. He didn't just find a hidden room. He stumbled onto the entrance of an 18-story underground skyscraper. This is Derinkuyu, a city built for 20,000 people to vanish without a trace. And the deeper you go, the more you realize they weren't just living down here. They were hiding. Welcome to the entry log. Today, we go deep into the subterranean vault. We're talking about a level of engineering that honestly makes no sense for the time. We are in Cappadocia, Turkey, where the ground is made of volcanic tuff. It's a strange rock that's soft enough to carve, but hardens like concrete once it hits the air. Ancient builders didn't just dig a few rooms. They went 18 stories down, reaching a depth of about 280 feet. To give you some perspective, that's like burying a 25-story building underground. To comfortably house 20,000 people along with their livestock. It wasn't cramped either. They had massive vaulted ceilings, wide corridors, and even stables with feeding troughs carved right into the walls. When you stand down there, you realize this wasn't a temporary hole. It was a permanent civilization built by people who clearly weren't planning on coming up for air anytime soon. Connecting these 18 stories is a labyrinth of tunnels that defy logic. But the most staggering part isn't the stairs, it's the highway. Archaeologists discovered a massive tunnel that stretches for nearly 5 miles, connecting Derinkuyu directly to its sister city, Kaymakli. This wasn't just a crawl space, it was a subterranean artery that allowed 2 massive populations to move, trade, and reinforce each other without ever breaking the surface. Within the city itself, the tunnels were designed with tactical precision. Most are so narrow and low that a grown man has to stoop or crawl, forcing any invading force into a single-file line, stripped of their mobility and peripheral vision. Every inch of this stone network was built to favor the person who knew the way, and to trap the person who didn't. But how do you keep 20,000 people, hundreds of animals, and oil lamps burning 24/7 from suffocating? In a space this deep, the air quality should become lethal in minutes due to CO2 buildup. But the builders solved this with a system that mimics a natural lung. They utilized a thermal siphon, because the temperature deep underground remains a constant 15 degrees Celsius. While the surface temperature fluctuates wildly, the difference in air density naturally pulls fresh oxygen down the central shafts and pushes stale air up through the smaller side chimneys. Even the rock itself plays a part. The volcanic tuff is porous. It doesn't just hold the structure up, helps absorb humidity and scrub the air of carbon dioxide. This is why, even today, you don't feel that damp basement smell. Interestingly, many of the 52 air shafts didn't actually reach the surface. They stopped just short, or were disguised as ordinary features to prevent invaders from poisoning the water or blocking the air. They were essentially hidden intakes for a city that breathed in secret. But the most chilling part of Derinkuyu isn't how they lived, it's how they defended it. It's built like a trap for anyone trying to get in. First, there's the rolling stone paradox. These doors are 5 feet in diameter and weigh over 1,000 pounds. They sit in deep grooves at a specific angle where one person inside could roll it into place easily using a lever. But a dozen men outside couldn't push it back because there's no grip and the stone is wedged by its own weight. Every stone door has a small hole in the middle. Most people think it was for a peephole, but it's actually a spear port. You could thrust a spear through the center of the door to keep attackers back without ever exposing yourself. The tunnels connecting the levels were intentionally narrow and low, forcing an invader to crawl or stoop, making them easy targets for anyone standing in the room ahead. This was retreat logic at its finest. The city is partitioned. If an enemy managed to break through level 1, the inhabitants would retreat to level 2 and seal the door. They were prepared to outlast an army for a year in total darkness, moving deeper and deeper into the earth, floor by floor. But the data doesn't cross-check. If Derinkuyu was just a shelter from passing armies, why go 18 stories deep? Why build a permanent atmospheric engine for a temporary problem? The official record says they were hiding from war, but the architecture says they were hiding from the sky. What kind of threat makes 20,000 people decide the Earth is safer than the Sun? And if we've only mapped 10% of this city, what exactly is still waiting for us at level 18? Thank you for watching. For more logs like this, hit subscribe. Catch you in the next